Well, good morning. We are in North Carolina and we have one VIP that wants to fly on our private jet down to Caicos. And there is a Cessna 208 Caravan down there, so that's a great place to fly down. We'll buy some planes and do some island hopping and do some brush pilot missions down there. So, since we've been having such trouble with IFR and it's just been a major pain, we're just going to break all the rules and just fly VFR at 45,000 feet and not talk to them people, and we'll just see how nicely it goes. Zero landing procedures.
Transporter from dispatch. Some VIP going to an important meeting this time. Waiting you at the boarding parking. Transporter form dispatch. Boarding passenger, please stand by.
So landing here at the island, it's just a runway.
Transporter, boarding is complete. You can start your flight.
And as you can see, it is definitely IFR conditions here. That's alright. Flying IFR and air traffic control has been such a pain that kind of ruins the flight anyway, so we'll still do what we're supposed to do. And it looks like I am parked in a horrible spot to even taxi out of here. Okay, let's get our APU going, provide us some power.
Oral warning, system test. Okay.
Okay, I'm just going through my typical flow here to get going. Let's go ahead and fire number 2 up. Okay. Got good ignition on that one. We'll go to number 1. There's number one. Shut the ignition off. Let's turn down our APU. Okay. We'll talk to these guys just to get out of here. We're gonna head south.
Ground Cessna Sierra Kilo Echo Echo Tango Echo Romeo with Mike request taxi for takeoff south departure.
Cessna Sierra Kilo Echo Echo Tango Echo Romeo taxi to and hold short of runway tree via taxiway Bravo Alpha. Contact tower on 123.75 when ready.
Taxi to and hold short runway tree using taxiway Bravo Alpha Cessna Tango Echo Romeo.
Runway 33. We're gonna have a lot of stuff in our way to get to our taxi. Probably the smartest to head down that way, but I don't think we can clear the trees.
Cessna Tango Echo Romeo hold position caution. Other traffic. Cessna Tango Echo Romeo continue taxi.
Okay.
Roger Cessna Tango Echo Romeo.
We had a little Cessna coming into our parking, so I hope we don't have a collision on the ground here. I just don't think I'm gonna chance that, because I can see it dinging us. So don't watch this. Don't do this at home. There, that worked. That was kind of a horrible place to have the plane stationed. Okay, we're really light again today. Only one person on board plus 3 crew. I topped off the fuel tanks. So it's going to be a fairly easy day. Just a quick 988 miles to straight direct to. Not dealing with air traffic control, so we're just going to climb right up to 45,000 feet. I kind of noticed this cliff here when we landed yesterday. Not quite sure if that's just if that's supposed to be there, if that's just a glitch in the program. Here's our hold line.
Tower Cessna Sierra Kilo Echo Echo Tango Echo Romeo ready at runway 33 south departure.
Cessna Sierra Kilo Echo Echo Tango Echo Romeo altimeter 29er.9er 2 wind 038 at 5. Departure to the south approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 33.
Cleared for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff runway 33 Cessna Tango Echo Romeo.
Okay, we're gonna do our 2 notch of flaps. I don't like cheating like this, not using IFR and talking, because that's not the, yeah, I think that's just a major programming problem there. That's kind of the stuff, you get a lot of that back in Europe when I flew there. That must just be program problems. Excuse me. All right. Let's get in above this weather here. We actually get to take off into some clouds. About 94%. And rotate. Tap the brakes.
Transporter, good flight.
Gear coming up.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
You're always going to get that landing gear when on your second notch of flaps. I bring that up, it goes away. But we want to have flaps for just a little bit.
Tango Echo Romeo leaving my airspace. Frequency change approved.
Okie
Tower
dokie.
Cessna Sierra Kilo Echo Echo Tango Echo Romeo frequency change.
Okay, we are in the clouds. Now, we're just gonna fly on instruments. Not gonna look out the window. Need to turn to the south. Watch my 45. Temperatures are still above freezing, so I don't have to worry about icing. Flirting with that 45 per degree, and I'm way over speed, but this is when you just don't look outside. You get careless what you see outside. You just watch your airspeed, your artificial horizon, your climb rate, and you just keep the plane under control. Oh, we're breaking out of the clouds there. Okay, we're above our 10,000 feet, so our speed limit's away from us. Our gear is up, our flaps are up. Coming to our heading right now. The clouds look cool. So the cloud went clear up to 12,000 feet, so. I'm just going to turn past my heading. About 10-15 degrees to pick up our line. Now I'm just going to pitch the plane for speed. It's kind of peaceful not having to talk to our little buddies in the control tower and center, and we can just fly right up to our airport or our altitude, and okay, our line's coming in, so I'm gonna start turning into our heading. Looks like we have about a 14-mile-an-hour tailwind. That's going to be good. We've lucked out on tailwinds here lately. Alright, we're already halfway up to altitude. And we could fly this VFR if we stayed below the 18,000 feet. We could just fly like any other plane, but this plane is not efficient at 18,000 feet, so just because we're a jet doesn't mean we can't fly VFR. We just can't be up here. But this is where the plane is the most efficient. Well, let's just go ahead and start our now we're on autopilot. We got a lot of fuel, a short way to get there. We're light, so I'd say we just fly this thing to the max. 97%, 96% we get out of the red. So we're at maximum thrust right now. We kind of have to wait to get higher to do this because our ITT temps at lower altitudes will get too hot and we'll have to back out because of our temps. But the higher we get, the colder it gets, and then it's just N1 percentage is where we have to back out of it. Let's go ahead and got some weather up here that we're leaving behind. Doesn't show any weather ahead of us. Let's go ahead and change to track up. I prefer that. because whatever's left is left, right's right, in front, front, back, back. The other one just shows you your direction, so. I kind of prefer this one. Oh, there's a big cell we're leaving behind. Nice. 10,000 feet to go. I guess we'll just put our VFR in there. No sense in doing it right because we're doing it all wrong. I don't know why that shut off. Oh, I bet everything shut off because of my stupid landing gear. Gotta remember not to use that. So we're gonna lose one of our bonuses for not having our lights on takeoff. And that's because I don't flip this switch here. I use my cockpit out here, and yeah, there's a conflict in there. Not quite sure. It's not gonna hurt us because it's just, I like to have all 5 buttons, but I only get 4 now. Alright, getting close. I'll have to throttle back once we get to altitude because we're at 95. Let's see if we can go full throttle yet. Nope. They could turn red at 97. And we're burning 1,146 pounds per hour per engine, so we're burning some fuel. We need to get that down to 700. So when we fly to like Europe, I can fly 3,500 nautical miles on here, but my climb's nice and gentle. I really watch that pounds per hour. I really don't want to get into the 800s. A good cruise is the low 700s. A good climb is an 800s. But your climb is a lot slower. We're not going to climb at 1,900 feet per minute. Because to get us back, it's all fuel management. Whatever you think you need. If we're really pushing that 3,500 mile leg, you better really pay attention to your fuel burn, and if you can throttle back a little bit. You can see there we're at our low 800s. Well, 860. But we're still climbing 800 feet a minute at 40,000 feet, so usually want to just get up as fast as you can, but if you're burning 1,100 pounds per motor instead of 8, mind you, it's not for very long. I mean, we've only been in the air, what, 5-10 minutes, so but we have plenty of fuel. We don't have to worry about just the amount of fuel we're going to burn is going to cost us when we go to fill it back up. Alright, now at 41,000 feet, I can max out my throttles. Now I am all the way. This is all it has. So the higher we get, the less and 1% we can actually push. So now we're at 96% fully maxed out. And our tailwind is now turned into a right side wind. This will be a quick little flight. It's telling us 2 hours right now, but once we get up here and level off, it should be like an hour and 45 minutes. We're not going to have the air traffic control mess with us, so I can come down when I want. I'll still talk to air traffic control when I go to land at their facility, but we're just not going to do the IFR communications. And alright, we're coming up on our 45,000 feet. Minute the nose starts to drop, I'll bring back the throttles because we're going to hit that overspeed very quickly. Alright, let's bring her back to cruise power now. Now I'm going to drop down to my N2 percentages, and I think we're going to start with 80% and see what that does to our airspeed. I should just use the N2 percentages all the time, but the N1 on a climb out is the first one to redline, so, and once I get up to cruise, the N2 numbers are just bigger to glance at, and you have a decimal, so it's easier to make sure your engines are both synced. Because we got 80 point, now it's bouncing, well, 80.4 and 80.3, that's pretty close. And that looks like that's pretty much maintained our airspeed where we want. We got our little 5-degree buff, or 5 mile per hour buffer, and as that comes up we'll just reduce throttle a little bit here and there. Oh, now we just have some coffee. Okay, I've tuned into the ATIS at the near airport, so we'll see if and when we ever pick that up. We're still 109 miles out, so. Okay, so our next altitude will drop down to, let's say, 2,000 feet. MBP, MBPV. Okay, I have my ATIS tuned to that airport. Still haven't picked it up yet. Showing 14 minutes out. Gonna have to slow down about 131 knots before I start my descent. I'm just gonna push it just a little bit farther, because once I slow down, 13 minutes out is gonna probably add a few more minutes. So it's just slowly down. You would think we would tune into that ATIS by now. I'm just slowly bleeding my speed off to that 250. Then I'll hit my first notch of flaps, and that'll help dirty this plane up a little bit. All right, there's our 250, so we can do our first notch. That bleeds the speed off quite a bit with just a degree of flap. So once we get below that 250 on our TSA, we'll go down to 2,000 feet. Now we're already out 17 minutes, so we've already added 3 or 4 minutes just slowing down as fast as we did. Excuse me. All right, let's start bringing her down, shall we? Nice and easy. We are in VFR skies now, so we can have little planes flying around us, so definitely want to be keeping a watch out for that. Starting to see the islands come into view out in the horizon. Oh, that's perfect. 700 feet per minute. We're right at 242. So that's actually a nice little descent. We're not going to break our speed limit. We're 16, 17 minutes out. I am a little early on all my descents, but
Providential's airport information, Sierra
there we go.
1500 Zulu. Wind 129er at tree 1. Visibility, tree. Sky condition, few clouds at 2,700 feet. Temperature, 26. Dew point, 10. Altimeter tree 0.09er. Visual runway 10 in use. Landing and departing runway 10. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact. You have Sierra.
Okay,
Providence.
there is South Caicos. Runway's 130 at 31, so the winds are howling pretty good down there. So runway 1, let's announce full stop landing, and let's just announce our position for now.
South Caicos traffic, Cessna Sierra Kilo Echo Echo Tango Echo Romeo 67 miles northwest 9,300 feet inbound to land runway 11.
Now we only got 12 knots of wind up here, but we got 30 down at the ground. So, as I was saying, a lot of sea breezes to deal with around these islands. So, that and thunderstorms are pretty much what you have to deal with. You don't have to deal with altitude or mountain peaks or anything like that. So, I'm going to move my heading bug over here to 185 degree. That way when I am ready, I'll just push that button and I will turn to the right a little bit to start my base. My radar is showing 2 aircraft to my right, but it doesn't tell me altitude, so I don't know if they're below me, above me, or at the same. We're going the same direction. It's nice when they have altitude difference on the aircraft. About the only thing you can judge is how fast. If they zip right over you and past you, that probably means they're a jet way up there and they're doing 500 knots, but we're kind of doing about the same speed, so it could be we're clipping right along, so there might be some other jets out here. We may not be the only private jet, but there's like 4 airports within the circle of islands here, so I don't see anything out my window, so I'm not going to worry about it right now. So runway 11 is 98 degrees true. Okie dokie. think if those planes were anywhere near us, we would see them, but I don't see them. They're pretty close to that shoreline, so I don't see any lights anywhere. We're going the same direction. So I'm going to call no factor. Alright, let's go ahead and turn base. There's my little cheater, so that shows me my runway heading. We're just going to go ahead and announce
South
final.
Vegas traffic Cessna Sierra Kilo Echo Echo Tango Echo Romeo is on final runway 11 to land.
Nobody's talking, so it should be just us. I've slowed our descent down a lot. We're only dropping 300 feet a minute because we're still quite a ways out. So there's an airport right in front of us that we're flying over. So if you do fly over a airport runway, it's good to do right in the center. That way you're not obstructing aircraft taking off or landing. At this altitude, we shouldn't be in anybody's way at that airport because we're off to the one end of the runway, but we're 5,000 feet above, so that is not going to cause anybody problems. Now I just need to get a visual on the runway. I'm thinking it's right, maybe right there. It's kind of hard getting a visual this far out. But I'm going to configure to land. We're still quite high, but we have full flaps. Time to set my approach speed. Okay, we have 3 in the green, full flaps. Speed set. Gradually coming down. Just need a visual. And this is about the time we should announce on final, but I haven't heard anybody talking, so we'll say it again.
South Caicos traffic Cessna Sierra Kilo Echo Echo Tango Echo Romeo is on final runway 11 to land.
Gonna go ahead and just put my altitude all the way down to 0 now because I just want it to continue to stay trimmed. I'm thinking this is the runway right there, that dark line. So I'm going to increase my down. Should have about a 400 feet per minute. Descent. Get my power set. Doesn't match my heading though, but it's 98 degrees, so I'm sure that's the runway. I don't have anything to cheat off of, so now I'm judging my glide slope by looking at the runway and seeing if it rises or lowers in my windshield. And it looks like it's lowering, so that means I'm going to come in too high. So I'm going to drop my descent a little bit. That's about the only way I can gauge the glide slope this far out. If it lowers in my window, that means I'm going to overfly it. If it rises in my windshield, that means I'm not going to make it. If it kind of maintains, I think we're on a pretty good glide slope right now. Okay.
Autopilot.
Shut the autopilot off. My plane. The thing is, if you come in with your airspeed set, your descent rate set, when you take your autopilot off, the plane's all trimmed for you. If you don't have everything nice and steady, you turn the autopilot off, your plane can do some wild stuff. But you see, I come in and I get my power settings all set. The plane's trimmed for quite a while. Take the autopilot off, the plane don't even move. So that's just a nice little trick you use. It does all the trimming for you. Okay, we need to bleed off a little speed. We're still a little high, but I think we're good. Nice little 22 knot headwind. Full flaps, lights on, 3 in the green. Speed's good. We're gonna land. That clicking in the background's just me trimming my plane. Bringing the nose up just a little bit, bleeds off a little speed. I'm just watching the engine end of the runway to see if it lowers or what it looks like out in my window, because that's pretty much all we can do now. Still a little quick. Looks like we're gonna have to back taxi. Everything's on this side of the runway.
500.
500 feet. Oh, there's our lights, all white, so we're still high. That's fine. We're in good shape.
Transporter from dispatch. Take
Whoa.
the VIP to the parking.
Haha.
Mayday.
Oh,
Mayday,
no.
Mayday. We have lost radio and radar contact with transporter.
Well,
Send rescue to his last position.
that just killed us. Oh, it was such a good day. Well, that totally. There's our lost your pilot. Oh no. Well, that totally blows. Not quite sure. Well, guess we start over again. Damn. You lost your pilot. So we lost our experience. All that is gone. Now I gotta start completely over. We don't even exist anymore. Well, that totally blows. Well, well, I guess we will start over or do something different. Unfortunately, not a good day for that one VIP on my plane. He is punished. Well, we'll see you next time. I'll figure out what we're going to do next.